What's going on, everyone? We are going to talk about one of the stocks that I love to trade each and every single day, and that stock is going to be NVIDIA. This stock, ever since earnings, has been an absolute monster. Even when the market, the overall market, the NASDAQ 100, pulled into the 200-day moving average and looked almost lifeless, like we were going to go down to the 50 and then start this whole new, channel and leg to the downside, NVIDIA actually performed like an absolute rock star by kind of just consolidating. Yes, we did pull back 1-2 days out of that time, but we never really lost any of those levels from that earnings high kind of gap and go, right? So what we're looking at here is a very, very strong stock chart. NVIDIA was up almost 4% on the day. They were up 9 points on the day. So I personally came in today with a short bias on NVIDIA. Now, did I actually take that short position? No, because it never triggered. I never got that entry. So I was patiently just kind of waiting for something to happen on NVIDIA. Luckily, I was able to catch Tesla's move to the downside this morning. Very, very aggressive move. So I kind of made my money and then flipped over to my futures account and just kind of dabbled in some ES contracts as well as some NASDAQ contracts to just kind of fill my time and fill the space. But I watched NVIDIA all day today, and this stock is absolutely setting up to explode. Potentially 250 price target, 248 is what I would be looking for here. One thing that I want to kind of show you guys, ever since these earnings highs, we put in the high here of around 239, let's call it. Now we have broken that price once, which is perfect. Anytime we put in a new high, I'm going to do a little training and teaching lesson here. If you're looking to buy breakouts, what you want to do is you don't want to buy that first initial move. If that first initial move breaks out and never pulls back and just runs 100 points, it's the name of the game, right? So essentially what we are looking at here when we buy breakouts as well as breakdowns, we are looking for that first initial pivot point, which is our earnings highs, that price, let's call it 239, right? It's 238 and some change, but I'm going to call it 239. What we want to see here is 239 get broken, okay? We want to see buyers push through that price once, and then once we get them to push through that, we want to see them pull back. Once we see them pull back, we don't want them to give up the lows of the whole consolidation channel, because then that would be bearish. But what we want to do is just see some sort of pullback. Now, we got that first breakout here on the 3rd of March as well as the 6th. This day here on the 6th looked like it could have went, but again, the overall market was back testing some major key areas of demand and support, so you can't really blame it. So while the NASDAQ 100 and things like Tesla are getting absolutely obliterated, you just had NVIDIA basically back testing their 5-day moving average, which, if you know anything about technical analysis, the 5-day moving average is your shortest term sentiment. That is going to be your trend. That's going to be your power trend, especially if we're looking on a daily chart. For example, if we were looking at a 5-minute chart and something breaks over the 5 SMA and it's just riding and bouncing off the 5 SMA, just like some people use the 9 EMA, those are power trending moving averages. So anytime you get a back test into your power trend, is not necessarily bearish. So if you're trying to short a power trend, you better be looking to scalp a very, very small level and putting a very, very tight stop, because the last thing you want to do is short, go into profit for this long and then get trapped and then have this make a new high. I hope that makes sense. So as we came into the 5 and 10-day moving average, if you look at the 10-day moving average as like the start of the trade, look at the 5-day moving average as your power trend, right? That's your big money mover. And then you look at the 20-day moving average as your short-term, week-to-week change in sentiment, right? So if we're above the 20-day moving average, we're more than likely very bullish. If we're above the 20-day moving average and then we now lose the 20-day moving average, maybe on a week-to-week basis, this week to the next week, we could be looking at a shorter term short position, right? So we never really lost the 20-day moving average. The 20-day moving average has just been rising. All we did was back test our power trend. We also back tested the start of this whole breakout trade, because if you look here, where did the breakout happen? When we gapped over the 25 and 10-day moving average. So use that 10-day moving average as a start of your trade. Use the 5-day moving average on your daily as your power trend, and use the 20-day moving average as your short-term sentiment for change in trends, right? If we were to lose this 20-day moving average and close below it, we would be looking at a back test here on the video of 205, 206. That's your short-term change of sentiment. You want to be short. You don't want to be trying to still bounce the video. If we just traded above it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and now we've lost it. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Just basic technical analysis, guys. And I'm a dummy, right? I'm an absolute idiot. You know, I'm no smarter than the next person, but I do know how to follow these patterns, and I do know how to follow supply and demand. I do know how to follow price action, and I do know how to set stop losses, and I do know how to be patient and wait for my spots. So I'm waiting patiently for this breakout here. My first price target on NVIDIA, at least 246, 247. Anything over that, I would be looking for around 248 to 250. Let's just call it a range, right? I'm never going to tell anyone we want to sell at 250 and it gets to 249 and then it rolls over and you lose all your money. We want to sell the breakout, right? Because we've already got our break over our pivot. We've put in this new high. So all we're looking to do is 240, 241. We're looking to get long over today's highs. Now, if we gap up, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. How you play a little bit of a gap up over this whole level here is you're going to need to wait 30 minutes for the market to kind of open up and digest. You're going to wait for that first hour candle to close, and then we're going to need to confirm the opening range highs. If we put in a new high or we gap higher than the pivot, than the breakout level here that we're looking to play, let it put in a new high, let it kind of back test 50 cents, a dollar, let it bounce off some rising support, and then we want to take it through the new high, and then we're still looking to sell into that 248 to 250 price target. That's essentially what we're looking at here. If we open up red, or we open up a gap down, or we open up flat, that's perfect. That's all we're looking for. Any one of those three situations is going to be absolutely phenomenal. If you did buy off of the 5 or 10 day moving average and you're bouncing this, I hope that you did take some profits along the way up here. If you got this anywhere between 232 and let's call it 237, make sure you're selling every dollar up, right? Just keep selling stock, every dollar higher, every dollar higher, every dollar higher. If you're playing 10 options contracts, every dollar higher, sell another contract, every dollar higher, sell another contract. Keep trailing your stop and break even on those last remaining runners. Always hold a piece here, because if we do go, NVIDIA is going to go. For everyone that's not in a NVIDIA trade here, all we're looking for is those two kind of patterns to play out. That gap up or green open, let it put in a high, let it retrace a dollar, $1.50, let it pick up some support here and then break that new high. That's going to be our first entry to get long. If we open up flat, red, or we gap down, that's perfectly okay. Let it consolidate and then let it take out this level here. That's when we're going to get long. Let's all make some money on NVIDIA. This is going to be my #1 watch for tomorrow on the long side, along with the NASDAQ 100 futures. I'm looking to rally those to the upside as well, as long as we hold today's lows. I'll see you guys all in the next video.